let's connect to our Ujjayi breath and discover that location of breath in the center of our body. So using the skull bones through the sit bones, expanding the ribs, deepening each breath. Feel the abdomen yield so that breath can be discoverable in the lower body. And we'll start right off with some rounds of Kapalabhati. So for the moment, exit the Ujjayi breath. And we'll do about 40 or so pumps. So when you're ready, bring that low belly, tip of nose exit. And then we'll pause, resume Ujjayi breath. Feel the abdomen yield. Spreading breath into the back wall, the back muscles. Okay, we'll set up Mariachasana. So perhaps have a strap on standby. We'll straighten the left leg. We'll bend the right knee. Inhaling. Growing the trunk tall. And exhale, reaching with the right arm, reaching with the trunk forward. And encircling the right arm around the right shin. Move the right shoulder away from the neck. And feel the neck soften. Release. Bring the right ankle over the left knee, shoelace. So shins are stacked. Side bend to our left, so placing the left hand down, inhale. Draw the right arm up, away from the right sit bone, exhaling. Wrap, reach to the right heel of the palm and fingertips. Let one breath find the right side of the pelvis and the sit bone, anchoring down to the ground. Another breath to the low ribs, waist, diaphragm. And yet another breath, armpit, upper chest. Now twisting toward the foot, either bring that right hand to the foot or bring the right tricep or the right armpit to the foot. When you're pressing the right arm against the right foot, use that nudge and foot, press against arm or hand. So opening up that entire right side from hip to hand. Release. I'll take that to the other side, Mariachasana. So unwind, straighten the right leg, bend the left knee. Use a grand inhalation to expand and lift the ribs away from the waist. As you reach, this vibrant reach for the hand. And then we'll encircle that around the shin. Then developing that powerful breath wherein the neck can remain relaxed. So if your strong or physical breath comes at the expense of super involved neck muscles, there's a deeper place from which the breath can arise. And relaxing the neck is a good, we'll say, test or helpful discovery for that. When we release, inhale. We'll come upright for side bend and shoelace. So the left ankle over the right knee. And then inhale, draw the left palm away from the left sit bone. Exhaling, pull with the right hand, letting the right shoulder move away from the ear. And twisting toward the foot. However you gain contact with the foot, let the foot press back. And release. So, in unwinding, have a roll or a block nearby, and we'll lie back, and we'll go straight away to abs with a roll or an object. So we want the object to be squeezable with the inner thighs, with the legs raised. Inhale into low back. Squeeze the object. Open up the foot bones. Curling tailbone. Exhale the head, the shoulder blades, just smoothly lifting them up. Ooh, and gather the belly, the low belly. Feel between the hip bones, feel around the pubic bone, below the navel. And then inhale, release some of those efforts, setting the head down. Squeeze again, curling tailbone, exhale. Come on up and pull low belly down. Inhale, let the head down. We'll do a handful more. So continue. We'll finish the round that you're on. We'll do two more. The breath can flow easily. The efforts can be high. So you can squeeze quite robustly, and there's still a lot of ease in the breath, in the movement. And so gradually we can increase our efforts, or energy, or intensity, if that's what we're cultivating, and find easeful ways to conduct that. Okay. Then have the object off to the side as was set up for bridge. Feet about hip width. Maybe have a block nearby in case. Exhale. The pelvis off the ground. Spine. Into bridge. And so with half Virasana, the left hand, we'll draw the left foot back. Use the inner legs. Keep pressing through the sole of right foot. The legs are still active, quite active. We'll switch, release the left, and half Virasana, right side. Again, use both inner legs to support the hips up, atop, over the block. If the legs kind of fall flat, you'll just be kind of resting most of your weight on the block. And the low back doesn't get a lot of support, so use those inner legs. I'll release. And press off the block. Lowering down out of bridge. Leave the left knee bent. We'll be drawing the right leg up for a lying forward fold. So you can use a strap to connect your right leg. You might like a big toe grip. That works also. Or to simply just grab up behind the calf. Now reach up through that inner right leg. Breathing into the back side. We'll let this right leg hinge about the hip socket. So mainly leaving that the sacrum on the ground. The head is relaxed. Often when we fold, we kind of let the head pour down. Here, a little different orientation. Just ensure the lightness and the relaxedness of the head and the neck. If you find yourself kind of steering or pushing with the head or clawing the ground with the head and neck, simply release efforts. Steering or the bracing with the neck. And we'll switch sides. So I'm leaving the right knee bent and straightening the left leg. So you can use a strap, a foot grab, a calf grab. Release. All right. So let's turn over and set up for downward dog. So move to hands and knees. Allowing the head and the neck to continue, but relaxing. Exhale the knees off the ground. Lounge lunge. Inhale the right foot forward. Sitting left knee down, left palm down. So use the right arm, hug thigh, we'll turn to the right. And two-part move, reaching back through the left leg and spearing it back. Letting the ribs drape and arc. All these intercostals get put on stretch and gravity. So breathe well into these left side ribs. Let that breath stretch all the way up under the pec minor, the breast tissue, the chest muscles. And inhale, unwind, we'll back it up. Twisting, lunge, interlock. Exhale, hook the left arm over the right thigh. And then for the interlock, so you can pace this, right hand behind back, left hand under right thigh. And when we release, pigeon twisting toward the thigh. So we'll walk the right leg down to the mat. However you position the knee is fine, but kind of line up the thigh with the edge of the mat. Okay. So the knee is in front of the hip. Okay. Now we turn, bringing the left elbow over by the right thigh. Okay. Sometimes that's a one kind of arm hook over, and sometimes you can stack the hands. It just kind of depends on your own balance about things. And inhale, unwind. We'll set the hands under shoulders. Exhale, downward dog. So we'll pause here. Set the knees down. We're going to have a little dolphin in between our sides. So set elbows down, forearms down. And exhale, press the knees off the ground. Dolphin. Letting dolphin act for us as a kind of a lung rib check. So getting vast, voluminous breaths, even though the shoulders are working. I think what's a really valuable move here, just feeling with your breath to check, to know, to wonder if we're bracing with the ribs in order to support our shoulder, or if we have the freedom to breathe well and breathe freely, right? Open, fluid. I will set the knees down, hands under shoulders. Exhale, downward dog. Lounge lunge. Inhale, left foot forward. Right hand down, right knee down. And then exhaling, that left arm hugs. Okay, so two parts. The right leg is super active, reaching back. Letting breath massage open around the right lung, the intercostals. The rib joints, which are sternal joints, and their spine joints. Kind of massaging the spine joints. And release. Twisting lunge, interlock. So we're talking a little bit this weekend or yesterday about how if we've had shoulder injuries or nearby surgeries, right, that sometimes the breath, our breath shape can become a little guarded around the shoulders. So to explore opening up the ribs and breathing well and with volume, and as it's good movement medicine. So at your pace for the interlock, left hand behind back, right hand under thigh. And release. Pigeon twisting toward the thigh, so lie the left shin down. And being certain to align the left knee in front of the hip so that the knee is not left of the hip, it's directly in front of the hip. And the right knee is directly behind the right hip. And now, again, the twist, bringing the right elbow over the left thigh. And release. Inhale, let's unwind the hands, from the twist rather. And exhaling, we'll set the hands down and we'll slide that left knee back. Here's a dolphin version, second edition. So using dolphin as just a little check-in around the lungs. Exhale, press the knees off the ground. And softly set knees down. Okay. So we're going to play with a little of seated virasana, half virasana. So sometimes some props are in order. Sometimes we need them, sometimes we don't. So if I were to have a seat with the left heel beside the hip, one possible option is just sitting on the ground and walking the shoulder blades back to the ground. Okay. Now for whatever, all sorts of reasons, but you might need some elevation under the butt. Maybe the knee just needs a different pressure system. So whatever elevation I put under the butt, I'd do well to put under the shoulder blades too. Okay. So whatever props kind of add up to. Okay. Now, maybe you walk the shoulder blades back, maybe it's a hand walk, and there's some forearm prop. But just gradually working, lowering the torso back in a way that the knee will tolerate or even enjoy. Good. So once having lowered, and we're revisiting a bunch of stuff from the weekend, I'm going to draw the right knee toward chest. So as I'm doing this, my left shin stays on the ground. And the neck is relaxed. So just taking note of any steering, pushing, clawing, or gripping that the head may have inadvertently begun resting on the ground. All right, we'll release. We'll switch sides. So right leg going back in half virasana. You'll have to decide on prop situation. And then walking the hands back, the forearms down, perhaps the shoulder blades down. And perhaps drawing the left knee toward the chest. And feeling that the head is simply resting on the ground rather than pressing or pulling or steering. And release. Set the left foot down. We'll extricate the right foot from that Virasana. I'm just taking a moment to involve the muscles around the knee, the quads, the inner legs. Right, turning over and pressing up. When we come to standing, we'll grab a block. I like a block for this, nice solid object. And I do like just being able to touch something for balance, a wall. Put my feet on similar surface. So the block is going between the feet. So the areas of contact, the inside of the ball mound, so the big toe ball mound, the ankle bone, the malleolus, and the inner heel. And discriminate that the heel touching and the ankle touching are both occurring and can be felt. So don't just think that they're happening, kind of feel check that they're occurring. Okay. Now just having gotten those 3 inside foot points, spread the toes, and it's not a linear squeezing together like a nutcracker. It's more of like a kind of a spirilic. It starts in the foot. It's a different kind of active foot. To gather all 3 of those points into the block is a kind of spirilic action, and then I'm letting that help draw the heels off the ground. So it's a deeply inner leg motion. And so if you've had knee injuries or hamstring pulls, and you can set it down every so often and just reset and re-enter. This will help identify the different, sometimes tensions in the foot or the calf or the knee or the hamstring. We can develop these kind of degrees of, I guess you say, pull. And it's a little hard for me to notice it in something like abs with a roll. But it's much, this just gives another kind of data set. Okay, now while you're kind of squeezing and pressing the heels off the ground, we'll do a big yawning action just to relax and release the jaw area. Oops. And when we release, we'll move back to our mat. We'll step the right foot forward, lunge. So the back toes curled under, and take a very similar approach. And pressing the knee off the ground, straightening the back leg as best as reasonable. And finding that same spirilic pressing inner leg motion that we were just doing with the block. Okay. Now with the right hand on the thigh, side bend, just a tiny one. Inhale, the left arm up. Staying connected to that inner left leg. Exhale, keep spiraling that foot into the ground, propelling. And release. Inhale, we'll set the left knee, hands, and leg down for pigeon, twisting toward the foot. So walk the right leg over, down to the ground. This time set the sole of the foot to face the long edge of the mat. And we'll grab a hold of or tricep or armpit in to right foot. Let the breath kind of open up into the lower body, the lower abdomen, the lower back. And release. Inhale, bring hands under shoulders. Exhale, we'll downward dog. So same principles of lunge. Inhale the left foot forward. Now we're just playing or imagining as if our inner foot points, the inner big toe ball mound, inside the malleolus, the ankle bone, and the inside, the heel. Imagining them all tweezing up against a block. And again, it's helpful to get a little more nuanced than just like a windshield wiper, just kind of sweeping something off the mat. It's more of a spirilic. It's a foot muscle. It's the diaphragm of the foot spiraling, involving the inner leg as we move into lunge. And yes, you can straighten the knee. It might be a gradual over time effort, but work toward it. You know, people just like to bend the knee and just, it's work towards straightening the knee. You can feel into that inner leg. There you go. And the side bend, great. Take the left hand to the thigh, raise, inhale the right arm up. Good. And exhale, keeping that connection to inner right leg. Releasing through the right side of the spine. Not just the skin on the side of the waist and the ribs, but deep, deep inside, right of the spine. And inhale, come back upright. We'll set knee down, we'll set leg down, pigeon twisting toward foot. When you lie the left leg down, have the sole of foot face the long edge of the mat. Now, my preference almost always for this is to feel the trunk lengthening toward the instep. Release. Inhale, let's unwind. Hands under shoulders. Exhaling, downward dog. All right, let's softly set knees down. Let's bring this to a rest, eh? We'll lie on back. Just prop legs however you love for them to rest. And so you're letting your physical body come to a kinetic rest note. It's in these kinetic rest notes where we can attune to exquisitely subtle movements in the body. If that's our aim, if that's what we want to develop, this is an extremely useful place for cultivating that deep, deep listening awareness. And it's an important psychological nutrient, a spiritual nutrient, to feel some quality of at restness. It's counterinstinctual for many of us, but to simply kind of eschew the tending toward doing, just to eschew the doing, whether it's simple fixing, simple repositioning, or even that subtle, that low level getting ready to get up. feel the body come to some degree of rest. And then breathing that rest in as if drinking something that your cells could absorb. Creating the contexts, the many contexts in which we can hear our bodily wisdom. Rest and silence are extraordinary conditions in which to know our bodily wisdom. So when you're ready, and you can rest as long as you like, and turn over and press up. Namaste.